How the devil are you guys? This is Robidon and this is one of my Ramble videos, and I have a question for you. If Fallout 4 was offered a New Vegas style role-playing DLC, would you want it and would you take it? Now, by that I mean this. If you was offered new factions, so that instead of just the new factions like the Rust Devils, which are basically new raiders with some new clothes that do absolutely nothing but offer you something different looking to kill, if you were offered factions like the Kings or the Boomers or the Great Khans with their own mini side quests, and they could tie into the main quest if you wanted them to, or they're just there. They're there to interact with, there to join, there to see in the world how they're interacting, how they're surviving. How about the quest endings? Now, as it stands, you follow the main quest and you get to the end and you choose one of four sides to side with. Now, you can be the leader of the Institute, and there is no option as the leader of the Institute to go, right, this is what we're doing, we're going to make peace, or we're going to start peace talks. And there's also the Missing Brotherhood of Steel quest that got removed, where you could overthrow Maxus and Maximo and become the leader, or even put Dance in charge. Those branching quest endings, they're not there. There are times when you're playing it and you literally cannot do anything logical. So there's no peaceful solutions, there's no multiple solutions to a problem. Follow the story, they want to tell the story. So with that in mind, moving on to a more New Vegas style role-playing DLC, you'd have to be offered quests that could fail. So how could you do that? Well, they'd have to change the game so that you could kill the quest giver before you even got the quest, or kill the quest giver before you gave them the quest back if they were the people you had to take the completed quest back to. There could be more branching paths to lose trust of opposing factions. So say you join the Minutemen, and well, the Minutemen is not a good example, they're mostly the most neutral faction. So let's say the Railroad and the Institute is the most obvious example. There should be, even though you're undercover as Railroad, the Institute should surely have a few spies in the area and stuff like that. So depending on what level of quest you take should determine how much it affects your standing with the other faction. So if you're just taking a Radiant fetch and do this quest, it shouldn't really annoy the other faction too much. If you're taking an out and out go do here, it's a major side quest for that faction or a major plot point for that faction, you should upset the other faction quite a lot. Like you could do that in New Vegas. So as soon as you got out the door in New Vegas, you had to side with the prisoners or side with the town, and it affected other things. If you sided with the town, you lost access straight away to going into the prison and doing all the questing there for the NCR to help them take back the prison. There, bang, gone by your choices. So with that, you're going to have different levels of quest importance, that affect the other factions. Like I said, some quests are going to have to be really important, and other quests are going to have to be minor and neither here nor there, and doesn't bother the other factions at all that you're taking those quests for their enemies, so to speak, because they're not really annoyed by the ones or in the slightest. So moving on to a different way that you could put role-playing back into Fallout 4 if in a DLC form. Now this would be a massive overhaul, all these points would be a massive overhaul to the game, but the old school fans aren't impressed that these aren't in there to begin with. So next up we have non-essential NPCs can die except for fall damage, because the AI is that stupid. If you had fall damage in there, you'd be losing quests left, right and centre. So think of it a bit like Skyrim's you have to be the one to finish them off. If they fall down, they do the whole damage, then they have to get back up routine. So yeah, the fall damage is silly. So yeah, you've got to have the ability to kill anybody you don't like. Anybody. You can't play a proper role-playing game where you get to choose your role instead of being given a role to follow, without the ability to go around killing, maiming, and generally being a rude dickwad, or whatever you want to call yourself. So yeah, so if you have the ability to kill anybody, you then got to decide if that quest is essential, what other way is there to advance the plot for that quest? Do you have notes on the body or other NPCs that you have to go to if you've killed that NPC, and so on. So, like I say, don't include fall damage, because the AI is so stupid you'll end up with no... especially if you're taking someone like Garvey with you. If he falls off, that's it, you've got no more Minuteman quests. So yeah, no fall damage, but you get the idea. Now, speaking of companions like Garvey, why is the fleshed out companion relationships? Because apparently, even though Garvey's trekked halfway across the Boston wasteland and he should probably be suffering from a post-apocalyptic version of PTSD, he's like, do this for me, do that for me, and within about 10 days in game time, it's like, I fancy you. It's like, okay, all I did was kill a couple of Mirelurks and drag you across half the Boston wasteland. So, yeah, and that also leads to the other problem. I have nothing against it, but it doesn't make sense. It's just been lazy with the whole every single character that's romanceable is bisexual. What is the point? It's literally a case of, yeah, we chose these 10 characters and we couldn't be bothered giving them any personality or any possible personality. Yeah, I've said it, I say it again. So yeah, they're all bisexual. So, what? I mean, even Dragon Age 2 understood the concept of some of them will be bisexual, some of them will be lesbian, some of them will be gay, some of them will be purely straight. That's not wrong to have mixtures. Variety is the spice of life. It's pure laziness. They've just gone, right, here's 10 of them, choose which one you want. They're all bisexual. That's not really role-playing, because if you want to role-play a character that finds such a character attractive, but they're lesbian, say take New Vegas. You could be a male and you could go, Veronica, I want my character to be in love with her. But then she turns around and says, unless you're a leggy blonde and you're playing a male, you're buggered. As much as you want to role-play her falling in love with you, she's interested in women. So, there, gone. No, you can't do that. So, the whole, every character that you can romance in Fallout 4 being bisexual ruins the roleplay as well. It's a different kind of roleplay now with boys and girls. Don't be getting too naughty in that mind of yours. So, the other thing with the romance of all these companions is apparently bigamy is acceptable after the end of the world as well. Now, not that you get married, but the point is you can have relationships with all of them. Apparently, all your companions, the lone survivor can have as many hoes as they want. Hoes or male hoes or sluts or whatever. That's not logical. Come on. Maybe one or two characters would take the attitude of they don't care. I mean, say Severin from Dragon Age. He doesn't care if you've got another lover. In Dragon Age, I mean, Severin's not fussed in the slightest. I mean, Morrigan and Liliana will get upset if you're trying to have the horizontal dance with both of them at the same time, but Severin's like, yeah, bring it on. Let's go to the brothel in Ferelden's capital city together and all the rest of it. So, yeah, again, variety is the spice of life. Stop making you as companions carbon copies of each other. You're taking away the role-playing from the game. Don't get me wrong, there is a role in the game, but you're playing the role. I mean, even Commander Shepard, you were playing the role of Commander Shepard, but you got to play the role of Commander Shepard as a Paragon or a Renegade. You didn't get to play the role of Commander Shepard as, it doesn't matter what I choose, I might be a bit sarky and that's about it. I'm going to get the same response. That's it, we're following a story here. You still got to choose your story in Mass Effect. Your decisions altered it a lot more than they do it in Fallout. So, yeah. It's that whole companion relationship thing, and karma. Karma, that's the next step. How about a 2-tiered system? That would be nice. Major karma. Major karma decisions. Killing in the murder sense. Robbery, because you have to take it physically from a person. And then you've got the good side of that, saving an NPC from danger. Evil and good conversation choices where it's a major choice. These could all be karma things, and you could have a minor karma system. Burglary, because there's no physical violence to a person involved, it's doing it behind the back. Sarcastic conversation choices, minor good or bad acts, like saving after you've saved a settler out on the street. You could say, go and live at my settlement down the road. That could be considered a minor good thing. Or here's some water because you're starving, or here's some Nuka-Cola because you're thirsty. Well, you wouldn't have water for starving, you know what I mean. Water for thirsty as well. But the karma system, there was nothing wrong with having it. It just needed tweaking to be more sense. It needed like 2 tiers to it. Major decisions and minor decisions, because the whole problem with Fallout 3 especially was it was just one system. So you could do a major bad thing like bomb Megaton, and then I'll just give away 500 bottles of water and I'm considered an angel again. So they should be on 2 different karma settings. With that, then you have the reputation system from New Vegas. It was based on your faction choices. Who do you kill? Who do you help? And how do all the different factions view that? And that would be based off your karma. So you might just be killing somebody in self-defense, but as far as that faction's concerned, you've murdered one of their operatives. So in that regard, the reputation system, it changed so much to the New Vegas feel, and it could change so much to Fallout if it was put in. Fallout 4, should we say. And then we get to the last 2 things, really. Number 1 would be the ability to be an arsehole. Or an asshole, depends what side of the pond you're on. So, how can you be an asshole? Well, conversation choices for a start. The sarcastic one is occasionally sarcastic enough to be considered an arsehole kind of response. Yeah. And then going back to the previous bit about non-essential NPCs, the ability to kill NPCs or kill people or factions or even destroy factions, that could be considered being an arsehole, because as it is, you just play a fairly nice, concerned parent searching for their child. There is no way to be an out-and-out dick. So, yeah. Then the second one is the Mass Effect wheel thing that they came up with. They tried to reinvent the Mass Effect wheel and broke it. Even on the console setup, with the 4 buttons, you could still have 2 buttons that did your yes and no, or accept and decline, depending on which menu you was in at the time on the HUD. And the other 2 could be give me more information, then you'd go into that and the same button would bring you back out, but then you'd at least get 3 more options when you went into that new one. And the other one could be other responses or other sarcasm, and you'd go into that and you'd get 3 more. So in the end you'd end up with 6 extra things. One button would take you into it and take you back out to the yes no, and the other 3 buttons would be extra things you could do inside that system. So think of it as like profiles in Assassin's Creed. You press a button and the buttons do something different. Or the better example is the Mass Effect wheel. You had the information questions on the left. You would click them, go into them, and everything around the wheel would change, and you'd get to ask new things, and then you'd come back out of that one, and then you'd have your Renegade and Paragon and all that. So yeah. I'm on a rant now. It's turned from ramble to rant. Anyway. So yeah, lastly, the fact that I'm able to make this video, and the fact that so many long-term fans want Obsidian to come along and make a Fallout New Orleans based off a couple of minor things that may or may not have absolutely nothing to do with Fallout. People have tweeted and all the rest of it. I mean, this could be the fans doing 2 + 2 = 5. But it shows that the role of the sole survivor, whilst it was interesting and it let Bethesda keep a tighter narrative, it didn't satisfy the long-term fans who wanted an RPG where they chose their own adventure in a world created with the tools for them to do that. So with that in mind, with all those type of things that you could have from a role-playing DLC of the New Vegas type, would you buy it? And is there anything on that list that you wouldn't want? By all means, let me know in the comments by subscribing and hitting like and leaving those comments. And you're entitled to come along and tell me my opinions suck. People have done that before. Swings and roundabouts. Not every channel on YouTube is for you, but hopefully mine is. So until you come along and chat to me, this is Robbie Don, Robbie gone.